Hey guys, welcome back to Linda's Resin Room. So I have an idea. Don't know if it'll work, but we're going to try it. I have this crystal ball mold from Let's Resin that I bought. It came with two. The other one has a parrot. But this has some mushrooms and some leaves and things. So I'm going to paint all of this up other than the crystal ball with some mica powders. I'll do that on a time lapse. Well, what I'd like to do is I have these little Mario and the little mushroom man. And I want to see if I can put them down in there. So I want them to be equal with this part because I want this to be the ground. So I've got this copper wire that I bought, and I'm just going to wrap it around him. And then I'm going to cut a little bit off here. And I'm going to see where I want him. Okay, meet him about right there. Oops, I've done lost it. So I'm going to prop that on top of there. I want him about right there. And then I'm just going to wrap this wire around to hang him. Okay. All right. I think that will work. Now we got to do the little mushroom man the same way. See if I can, well, it's hard to get it tight. All right. See if I can get this wrapped around his legs here. Okay. All right. Cut me off a little bit of this one and do it the same way. And then I will fix them where I want them. So about right there. Okay. Now let's get this wrapped around. And we will use deep pour resin, but I won't fill it up to where my wires are. Mario looks like he's falling. He's coming unraveled. I'm going to have to redo him. Okay. Well, this is not as easy as it looks. Now he needs to be a little more. Okay. I didn't know what else to wrap around, but let's get that there. Hopefully that will hold. I wonder if I can do it this way and put it through there. And then maybe that will hold it a little better. Okay. Okay, now let's wrap. I hope this works. Kind of like them to be facing me the opposite way though. Like he's kind of chasing the mushroom man. Turn the aider off. I swear it's just does that to get on my nerves. I don't want him touching it. Okay. I think that will work. Alright guys, I am going to hopefully not mess that up. And I'm going to paint the mold. So I'll see you guys shortly. Hey guys, so I forgot to hook the microphone back up. So I'm trying to do a voiceover for this little section. I've mixed up my resin. I've mixed up 8 ounces of resin, and it is a deep pour resin. I didn't put it in the debubbler. I've just mixed it for 3 minutes. I didn't put anything in it. I just did a part A, part B. I don't remember how much, 75 I think of part B, 175 part A for 250 gram, I think, is how I measured it out. I do want to put a little color in it. I don't want it to be very dark, but I do want it to kind of look like the sky a little bit, since in Mario, when you play, it is a little blue. So I've picked out this octopus fluid ink. I'm just going to add 1 drop because I don't want it to be too dark. And I think the color is sapphire blue. 1 drop's all I needed because I wanted it to be a little more the color of the sky, but it turned out a little bit of a darker blue, which I'm okay with. I think it'll still look very pretty. I want it to be very light to where you can see through it and be able to see Mario and his little mushroom man in the globe. So I'm just making sure I've got the color mixed in very well because I don't want it to be really streaky. Alright, I'm going to put the color up, and then we are going to start pouring this into the mold. I think it probably needed a little bit more than this, but I don't want to pour it up and get up to the metal hooks that are attached to my Mario and little mushroom. I'm hoping not to get any bubbles in there as I pour this in, so I'm going to pour kind of slow, and I'm watching for bubbles. Now, there are some places in the mushrooms down in there that I'm worried bubbles might get into, just because of the way that they are made. This is a very thin resin, so I'm hoping that it flows into all of those crevices without any kind of difficulties. So I'm just slowly pouring it in on top of my little mushroom man, making sure that I don't hit any of the wire, because I don't want the wire to be coated in resin when I go to remove it. I'm not going to take it all the way up to cover Mario and his little mushroom buddy, because of, like I said, I do have to remove the wires later. Right now, excuse my head, I didn't realize I put my whole head into the camera. I'm trying to squeeze the bubbles out of some of those mushrooms because I do see a couple little bubbles in there. And there's a few that get a little stubborn that I have to pluck out. And here you'll see I take the toothpick. Well, I took a dotting tool, the silicone end, and am pulling the bubble out. I'm being very careful so that I don't mess with my paint job, which is probably going to be a little rough anyways. And if it is, then I'll take some markers at the end and go over it. Here you see me pulling out another bubble from one of the mushrooms. Now, there are a couple of mushrooms that's still not filled up, so I'll have to be careful when I go to do those. And I'm just going all the way around the mold, checking every single mushroom individually, making sure that I do have every one of them. And I think I have them all, so I'm going to straighten Mario and his little mushroom buddy up. I'm going to clean off my silicone tool, and then I'm going to finish scraping my cup. This resin is very thin, so it's pretty easy to get it all out of there. We'll just get the rest of that down in there, and then we'll scrape the cup a few times here, try to get all of that out. I'm watching to make sure I'm not creating too many bubbles as I do this. Okay, we're going to scrape the cup really well and go all the way around it, trying to pull all of the resin down off the bottom to the side, so that way when I do go around with my my stir stick, then I can make sure I get it all. If you are going to scrape the sides of your container, when you do this, make sure that you scrape them and stir your resin up very well, because if you don't, then you're going to have pieces in your piece that's going to be soft and sticky and won't cure completely. Okay, we're going to go a last time around the cup like I always do. Try to get everything that we can and put it right down in there. I'm being careful not to put it on top of the little mushroom man or Mario himself. Because like I said, I do have their feet wrapped with wire that I do have to remove once this cures up enough that they will be able to sustain where they're at and not sink. Okay, just one little drop there. Letting it drop off the stick. Okay, I'm going to turn my cup up side down over in my drainer. That way I can get any bits that are left for some scrappy pieces. And then I'm going to clean off my stir stick. And I'll throw it over on my silicone mat, which you can see back in the back, the orange. I just took a little heat and popped a bubble. That's not my favorite heat gun. That one gets a little hotter than the others. I like my small ones because they don't usually get hot enough to mess with my molds. I'm just plucking a bubble off of the little mushroom man that's stuck to the side of him, pulling it there to the center and trying to pop them. There are a few micro bubbles down in this, but as it sits, they start to clear out. Just straightening up Mario and his little mushroom buddy. And we're going to align him where we want him. I want to be able to see through the sides to make sure that we can see him. Alright, and I'm just checking to make sure there's any bubbles down in there. If I do see any, then I'll pop them. But I think we're pretty good. And I think we'll let that set up. And then we will come back. Oh, see another little bubble. We'll come back and I will see you guys when it's ready to do the next layer. Okay guys, so this is still not completely cured. It's a little soft. So I'm wanting to go ahead and get this out and try to get these wires off, because let me hook up my microphone that I forgot. Just a second. Alright, there we go. I don't want my colors to have a visible line, so I want to do this before it completely cures. I'm just hoping to get this off. Where's my little wire trimmers? I'll drop everything in the floor as I do this. See if I can get it off this way. I have to have some tweezers. Okay. Got all the tweezers here. And I'm just throwing everything everywhere. Okay, I got that one. Mario's a little more difficult where I had to wrap the center. Here's a little piece. Okay, I think I might have it now. Maybe. Well, I think I got one foot. This other one's just kind of twisted around a little, I think. Okay, got it. Now, I've mixed up resin. I haven't put it in the debubbler or anything. But I'm going to put my color in, put it in the debubbler, and then we are going to finish filling this up to this line here, because we want to put the ground on the bottom. So let me get me a paper cup. I've mixed up 8 ounces of resin because I've got another project that I need a little bit for. Trying to guess how much I will need. And I'm dripping. I always drip even though I try everything I can not to. Okay, I think that should be enough. Let's get that up. If I don't get it up, I'll stick my arm in it. Now, we used jeans. I looked to see what color it was. It was the alcohol ink jeans that I put in there. Now, I don't want a full drop because I'm not using the same amount that I used the first time. So I'm just going to see if I can get a little on here and get it down in there maybe. And see if that'll be enough. I really think it will, because we just barely tinted this. Okay, let me clean this toothpick off here. Just in case I need it again. And a stick. Alright. Yeah, I think that's plenty of color. I'm hoping I've got it about the same. It's going to be very difficult to match these up, so you may be able to tell it because of the color may not match. I'm hoping it won't be a noticeable difference. Don't want it streaky. Alright, yeah, I think that'll be okay. Alright, I'm going to put this in the debubbler. And then we will be back to pour some more. And I see a streak. Must have been on the stick. Let's get that down in there and stir it around a little bit. Get this in the debubbler, and then we can come back, and hopefully I've got enough in here to finish filling what I need. So I'll see you guys in just a minute. Alright guys, so I got my resin out of the debubbler. Still a couple of little bubbles around the top. I do want to try to pop those. Okay, now get our little stick here, and let's see how much we need. This is 4 ounces that I've mixed up. And it's got to run over into these little mushrooms that we hadn't filled up earlier. There's only a couple, so I'm hoping we don't have issues with bubbles with these. I just pour slowly. I'm not sure we'll need all of it, but we might. I have a feeling some's going to go down in that little mushroom man. Yep, there goes the bubbles. Kind of thought they might, and I see a bubble down in a mushroom here. So let's see if we can, I don't know if we'll be able to squeeze it out, because part of it is, there it goes, is from the other resin, and I could be messing this up. Pluck that bubble out over here and see if my mushroom will go back. Yeah, it did. Alright, I'll have to keep a check on him. Let's see, there's a bubble in this one. See it pop out there? And we just pull it over. Okay. I think that's the only two that had bubbles. Get that off there, and then clean this off. So I'll throw it out of my way. Alright. Put just a little bit more in here. I'm hoping those bubbles that's down in there, I see right there, will come out. Part of Mario's shoes will be down in the dirt, so he's going to be embedded in the dirt. I put him up a little too high, but he'll be okay, I think. Alright guys, we are going to leave this alone, let it cure up, and then we'll come back and add our final layer. So I'll see you guys then. Alright guys, so this is cured up enough that we can do our next layer. Now, I've got, what have I got, 3 ounces of resin mixed. I think 3 ounces will be enough. I'm trying to use these bag powders, so I picked out 3 browns. I have one by Resin Art called Chocolate, Kisserl Brown, and KP is Chocolate Milk. And I thought I'd just use just a little bit of each one and just mix all 3 and see what color we get. And if it's too dark, then we will add something a little lighter. I'm not going to do very much of each one, just a little. All of these, I think, came with resin. The KP one I ordered, I thought it was in bags, but it wasn't. I mean, in jars, it came in bags. So that I did order. So this one I can link. These other 2, I can't, because I know they came with resin. Oh, goodness. Man, I'm trying to get these bags open sometimes. I just don't like using the bags because I end up making a mess. They're always stuck to the side. Okay. They're all 3 different. So let's see what color we get. Okay. I hope we put enough color. Yeah, I think that's okay. It's definitely brown. I want it to be a little different. So, I know I have a color over here. Where is it at? Alright. Flesh. This is a mica powder called Flesh. I got this off of Amazon. I will link it in the description. And it's just a really light, beigey looking color. So let's see if this will tone down the brown a little bit. So we will have 4 different colors in this brown. I did mix this resin and it's been sitting for about 10 minutes. Just to let it degas. Okay, I don't think it's really done anything different. Well, this is what we're going with. If I can get the lid back on it so I don't spill it everywhere. It's going on crooked. This does this every time I try to do this container. There we go. Okay. Just make sure it's mixed up really well. I can feel it starting to warm up. This is Dr. Crafty resin. It warms up pretty quick, but it's also 80 degrees in here. So that has something to do with it too. Let's just dump this out. And let it fill it all the way. There we go. We're good. I think I'll put just a little bit more in there. If I can get it to dome a little, maybe I won't have to trim the bottom and it'll be smooth. Okay, that's it. I will take my little torch or heat gun, whatever you want to call it, and just watch for bubbles for a little bit, and we'll let this cure up and we'll come back for a demold. So I'll see you guys then. Hey guys, so this is cured. It's surprisingly cured really fast. All right, let's get our little extras out first. Did this go with this one? I've got like 4 different projects, and I can't remember if this went with this one or another one. It's going to be on this one. There's our little, I'm pretty sure it was this. There is our little turtle. And this little snail I filled up with some of the extra that we had. I really think this went with my other project over there. I don't remember. Anyways. Alright, and there's our little snail. I might take some gold and line his shell out just to set him out apart. Get this flipped back up. Love these little snails. Let's see. Alright, now for Mario. I hope this turned out. I'm just going to kind of pull it out here. I don't know if this is how easy or hard this is going to be to demold, but I think it's going to be a difficult one. Okay. Here we go. Not too bad. All right, get this side here. Well, it's definitely got bubbles, even though I put it in the debubbler. That looks cool. I really like that. You can definitely tell where I did the 2 layers. But that's okay. My grandbabies will love it. Alright guys, I will see y'all back then for the next video. See you then.